I'm Brad McGinnis with the AppleGeeks.com podcast and YouTube video channel series, and I'm here with Oscar Seung.
Yes.
It is a pleasure to meet you
It's
and
my
to have this
pleasure.
interview with you. Thank you.
Oh! Come on, bloopers. Okay.
We have official business going on.
I
all around
love
us.
it.
But we had the honor today of being able to talk with Oscar at Anime USA.
Mm-hmm.
And what have you thought of the convention so far?
I love it. This is such a great convention. It's huge.
I know. It's
Yeah.
actually my second convention that I've been to.
Oh,
I
yeah?
went to Tidewater Comic Con in Virginia Beach
Uh-huh.
last summer. I had the pleasure of meeting. First star I ever met was Stephen Bloom. I was. I didn't know how to handle it at the time, so I have a little experience with actually talking to somebody in the
gosh.
industry now.
I
So
love it.
I'm grateful for it. So you've been involved with Yuri on Ice,
Uh-huh.
One Piece, Fairy Tail. Now, out of those three shows, what would you say in your mind was the most memorable role of the three?
I love my character on Yuri on Ice. I
Of
played
course.
Seung gil-lee.
Yes.
I love how stoic and kind of cold he was.
Right, absolutely, yeah.
But I kind of was digging. I played Daruma on One Piece.
Yes.
And that was a freaking blast to play. That was probably one of my favorite roles.
So, and that's phenomenal. And just, me being a fan for many years of shows like, One Piece, Fairy Tail. I've gotten a little bit of Yuri on Ice. That's been a new one for me. But just in actually being able to interact with a star like yourself, I'm
Oh, God.
certainly starstruck, absolutely.
Oh,
but,
no.
I'll keep my professionalism first and foremost. So I wanted to ask, so in terms of the series over the years, what are some of your highlights that come to mind? Maybe roles that you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I was able to get my hands on this role or involved in this project?
It's really interesting how I got this Seung gil-lee. Sunny just called the director. He just called me in and just walked in the booth and I just started recording. It was really fun because he asked me if I could do a South Korean accent, and I can do a really racist Asian accent. I can't do a legit Asian accent. So he was like, just try. And I was like, okay. And I did it. And he was like, okay, no. Okay, cut. I need you to go back, just being regular. So I just ended up using my regular accent. But I booked it because we share the same name, Oscar Seung gil-lee.
Right.
And but later I told him, I was like, I'm Chinese. You know that, right? And I was like, oh. Let's not talk about that either. And cut.
Never bring it up again.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm actually Chinese. And I play a South Korean ice skater. So that was interesting.
Isn't that wild how that works?
Yeah, I was so grateful. And when I did the part, it wasn't a very big role, but but people seemed to really, really like him, which is great. But I didn't know anything about the show. And so, but then people started talking about it, and I'm a voice teacher as well. I teach opera. And so I was working with my student, and she was a new student. We were talking about like some of our interests, and she said anime. I was like, oh, cool. I work at Funimation quite a bit, and she goes, oh my god, what have you done? And I said, I just finished recording Yuri on Ice.
Yeah, this little thing here.
Yeah, and I didn't know it was a big thing at the time. I was like, oh, it's a show called Yuri on Ice, and she screamed so loudly in my house. My dog's like scattered. And I was like, oh my god, and she was like, I love that show. And she was, who do you play? I play Seung gil-lee. And she goes, yas, eyebrows on fleek! What? Eyebrows on fleek?
Of all the compliments, all the
I
comments
couldn't
you
handle
got.
it. I could not. So from then, like, the whole voice system was derailed because we just spent the whole time talking about Yuri on Ice and about my character. I was like, oh, what is happening? That's when I knew Yuri on Ice was like, okay, this is like a big thing. I need to.
It's really hit the anime scene by storm. It's just one of those. I mean, the animations are nothing short of just
beautiful. Like what? Just the opening credits? I was like, are you kidding? What is this? What am I watching? It's amazing. I just such a great show.
Oh, absolutely. And it's one of those, I never thought I could get excited about something like ice skating for it, because I love anime for the over-the-top, subject matter it brings to the medium. I mean, I never thought I'd be psyched on cooking like Shokugeki no Soma. It's like, whoa, I've never been excited about this stuff in the real world versus anime.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I also love that, it features an LGBT storyline.
Absolutely.
And like I'm gay, I'm LGBT myself.
Do you feel like there's enough of that represented in the anime community?
No. Like I like growing up, I'm gay and I'm married. I never saw anything. I never saw any LGBT stories. I never saw any representation. So when I watched the show after I was in it and saw it was a big deal, I was like in tears because like growing up, I never got to see that.
Right.
I never saw that. And what's great, I think, really, really telling is how people love the show, but we don't have to bring up like it's a gay thing.
Right. And
people never bring it up because you don't have to.
I think that's one of the good shows and strong characters is when you don't have to constantly bring it up in the context of the show. It's just let the story and the characters speak for themselves, and then if it happens to be a part of that, it's an aspect of their character that doesn't have to be the defining part.
Exactly, at the central part. Exactly, it's so great. It's just great to see how far we've come.
Absolutely.
It just warms my heart.
And even for a medium like anime, which has always been ahead of the curve in terms of bringing out certain subject matter,
Correct,
it's amazing to see how far it can still go.
It's
the
amazing.
Potential it has.
It's so great.
Now, from pieces that you've done in the past, do you find you do a better role, or you fit into the role more comfortably if you know less about the anime beforehand, or maybe study up on it a lot? Because I've heard both approaches can work.
I like to know less for anime. I say probably I'm mostly a film actor, a stage and film actor. I've done a lot of theater, but mostly now I do a lot of film work. So what I love about voice acting is it's almost like every session is a cold reading. Like, I don't find out what role I booked until I show up.
Really?
Oh yeah, my agent just says Funimation wants you in this time, great, and then here's your role, and here's the Japanese version, and then you just go.
Yeah.
And you get to work with the directors. They have great directors at Funimation. They're amazing, and you just get to find the character together, and it's just great. It's a different way. You're flexing a different muscle when you do voice acting as an actor. It's great.
I was going to ask, what would you find to be the biggest distinction between, I guess, live action acting versus the voice acting?
In theater and film, I have a lot of time to prepare, a lot of time to kind of do research on the characters and just, all the actor stuff, like find objectives and internalize objectives and like discover your relationship with other characters. But in anime, it's like you show up and here's your line, and boop, 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 do something.
No, it's great.
Yeah.
Because,
it's
mean,
awesome.
I can imagine, you have the certain idea of what maybe the director or the producer wants for the character, but then if you have too much of that built-in framework already in your head, it might skew your performance in a certain direction.
That's the danger of doing a lot of... I mean, that's why I love doing voice acting, as much as I can, because it kind of stops me from getting too in my head. Because you literally don't have time.
Yeah.
Because you got to go.
Absolutely.
It's right there, 3 beeps, you got to go. So there's really no time to, to go into your acting spiral of death and, self-doubt and, am I good? Am I talented? Yeah, you don't have time for that. You just got to go. So it's really refreshing.
What was one of the first series that you were introduced to growing up that maybe influenced your decision to get into the world of voice acting?
I was a huge fan of, obviously, Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon. I loved Sailor Moon. I was obsessed with it. Being a gay boy, I was obsessed with it. So I didn't... I remember watching them in the English dub and oh, cool. But it didn't click that, oh, those are actors. Oh, those are actual people. I didn't click. I was too young. I didn't know that. Oh, this is an actual thing. And so, so actually, Leah Clark was the one who kind of introduced me to Funimation, and that's how I got my foot in the door. But I did theater, a lot of theater, and I met Leah, and we became best friends. And she's the one who told me all about Funimation, auditioned for Joe McDonald, and started working. Yeah.
And when you started getting into it, you felt that you were at ease with that, or
it was
synced with you.
The best. It was the most fun audition I've ever had, at going into Funimation. They are just, the company's amazing.
Oh, absolutely.
People are so incredible there, and they just make you feel so relaxed and welcome, and Joel took so much time and really invested a lot of time teaching me the ins and outs, and he didn't have to do that.
Right.
But he, at the audition, he was like, here's what's going to happen, there are 3 beeps on the rhythm. I was like, this guy is giving me a crash course, and I'm just auditioning for him. So he was wonderful.
But you got to think, if you do that for everybody that comes in, you're going to set them up ideally for success, whereas they might be a little too freaked out, nervous about the process.
They're really good about but the thing is, I don't even remember being nervous because everyone was so nice.
I can imagine a group like Funimation.
Yeah, and the process was so painless that it was just easy. It was just fun and easy. It was great.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask about your work since you had brought up the live action. How is American Dynasty going?
It's going really, really well. So we've premiered at a dozen film festivals all over the world, not just the U.S. We've won 4 of them. It's hopefully will be the first Asian American family drama on television. We're trying to get sold.
That's phenomenal. I just wanted to get for the audience, a quick summation about American Dynasty.
Yeah.
What's it all about?
So the story is about a Chinese mother named Evelyn Han. She has a family. There are 4 siblings, and The mother is a very famous author who wrote a series of memoirs called American Dynasty.
Right.
And she basically found a way to capitalize on the American dream. This country touts the American dream quite a bit. And so she sold the idea of this perfect immigrant family and told stories about the kids and how great they are and, you know, who they grew up to be. And you find out in the show, in the pilot, that they were all lies. And the mother commits suicide in the pilot. And so the kids then, for the first time in their lives, they don't have to live up to these expectations anymore. They're free. And so they're about to do an expose on, like, these books were lies and this is who we are. Some of the siblings are like, we are rich and famous. Like, what are you complaining about? So, like, the two older siblings, so I play the older brother. I'm also very similar. I immigrated to America. We had to work very, very hard to get what we had. Why are you blowing it all up? The two younger siblings were born in America. They were sort of grandfathered into the American dream. So they don't understand the struggle. So it plays on the relationship between siblings and, like, you know, seeing them as ungrateful and, like, but they're sick of lying and, like, being people who they aren't, that they're forced to.
Right.
So, like, my character, for example, is, like, the personification of the American dream. He is married, has a beautiful wife, has a kid, great job, tenured professor, and you find in the pilot he's gay. Always been gay. But because of these books, because of societal expectations and familial expectations placed on Chinese people, he had to be in the closet his whole life.
And that ties with the whole thing, just living under this pretense or this lie, even if it is the idea in other people's eyes, this vision of success. Like, okay, that's great, but what does it mean to me?
Exactly.
What's my vision?
Yeah, so on the outside, they're the perfect, like, oh my God, look at this, amazing. We also played on the idea of the model minority. Ronald Reagan coined the term for Asian Americans as the model minority. We're basically saying, like, you're idiots. Like, that's first of all, it's a racist term, and you're pitting us against other minorities, which is how it was perceived.
Right.
So we're flipping it. We're taking that term, we're going to flip it. Like, you think we're the model minority? Like, you don't understand how hard.
There's a power to be able to flip a phrase like that into,
That's what the show does. We're just flipping the script, basically. Like, you know, like, Asian Americans can't be leads. The show is all Asian Americans. Bring it. So Asian Americans are just naturally smarter. And just like, oh, they're just lucky. They're just born smarter. We show how hard they had to work. You know, Asian Americans are just successful. It's like, well, you see the sacrifice we had to make to be successful. Like, you know, you'll see the family kind of whitewash themselves. You show that part of it. Like, they don't, you know, like, the pantry's all white and, like, burgers and fries instead of soy. You know what I mean? Like, we see them, like, stripping down their cultural identity to fit in to American society. And the question we pose is, okay, the American dream. This family has reached it. At what cost? Do immigrants fundamentally have to give up their cultural identity to achieve mainstream success in America? That's what we ask.
That's powerful.
So let's see what happens with the show.
Oh, absolutely.
So we explore that in the show, and we just, you know, we don't know the answer. We have ideas, and we want to tell different stories, and to kind of start the debate, but we don't know it ourselves. So we're going to find out, you know, through the season what's going to happen. That's amazing.
Yeah. I'm very interested in this project, and we're getting close to the time. The end of this, I just wanted to see if there's any final thoughts, comments you wanted to make pertaining even American Dynasty, or even just the convention as a whole you wanted to bring up.
I just want to say that I'm grateful. I didn't know that these things existed, these cons, and I'm just grateful that these people have found each other, and I'm part of that tribe. Where, you know, grew up like I didn't really fit in. Asian American and gay, and like I liked anime, and I didn't know where, like, I didn't fit in anywhere. I was bullied.
I grew up on Toonami.
Yeah, exactly. Me too. Yeah. So yeah, it was weird. It was hard growing up in Texas, and, you know, being different and being bullied every day. So it's nice that now I'm an adult, and all the things that I was bullied for, I'm celebrated for.
Isn't that real? It's how the entire culture behind it can turn around.
And so I love coming to cons because I feel like these people have found their tribe. I love seeing the cosplayers. I love seeing people at panels and meeting them, and, like, just, I want to reinforce to them, like, keep doing what you're doing. Like, other people might think what you're doing is weird, but I think it's freaking beautiful and gorgeous. And you guys are perfect. And, like, I'm glad y'all found each other. So stick together and just, you know, keep trucking along. Because, like, everything that you are ostracized for and bullied for, I guarantee you, give it 10 years. You're going to be celebrated for it. So that's what I love about coming to cons. It's a reminder of that.
I would have to agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. Well, hey, thank you
so
so
much
for your time. Really appreciate it. This is Brad with the Appy Geeks signing off with Oscar Seung. It was a pleasure.
My pleasure. Thank you.